Pretty excited, man, after talking about the state awards. And obviously, our main man, Mammootty, our favorite Mammootty, cleaned up. Like, he won, I think, his 7th or 8th state award, I think. So he's just adding to his collection.
Unbelievable. At this age, no less, just continuing to rack up awards. Amazing, man.
It's ridiculous, man. It's crazy. But yeah, so he won the award for Nanpakal, but man, he did 4 movies, which is kind of insane.
It really is insane.
Like, it's kind of crazy for, a leading actor of his age to do 4 movies in 2022, and all of them to be just, basically, we haven't seen one of them, actually. So if you guys want us to review, I think it's called Puzu or something like that. If you guys want us to take a look at that one, drop it in the comments. We already have a massive Mammootty list, so we're more than happy to
continue to add to it.
Yeah. But we're gonna look at some sort of reactions to some of our favorite scenes across the 3 movies. Sorry. With Nanpakal, we're gonna do 2 from Nanpakal, and then 1 from Rorschach, 1 from Bheeshma Parvam. Obviously, we're going to see all sides of him in this, right? Because they were all such completely different movies. We're going to see a whole spectacle here of Mammootty. But yeah, guys, just to let you know, due to some copyright issues, what you guys see on the output of the video is going to be different to what we actually see for Rorschach and Bheeshma Parvam, because unfortunately, copyright is just, those 2 movies don't like us sort of reacting to their movies, so we have to do some kind of, video with image overlay kind of stuff to sort of get by. But nonetheless, I hope you guys tune in and still enjoy our reactions and what we have to say about those movies, because I think that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, man, shall we get into Sunny?
Man, can't wait, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
അവരൊക്കെ വണ്ടിയിലിരിക്കും.
ഞാനല്ലേ വിളിക്കുന്നു. ഇവരൊക്കെ എത്രക്കാരാ നമുക്ക് അറിയാമല്ലേ. വന്നേ, നമുക്ക് പോകാം, സമയമായി. ചേച്ചേ, ഈ വന്ന് വണ്ടിക്ക് ആളുകൾ ഓരോന്ന് പറയുന്നു. ഇപ്പം പുറപ്പെട്ടാ രാവിലെ വീട്ടിലെത്താം.
നിങ്ങളെ യാർ എന്നെ പറയാൻ പറ്റില്ല. എന്നടക്കം ഇവിടെ കളിക്കണോ നീ? എടാ മതിയാണ് നിന്റെ അഭിനയമൊക്കെ. നിന്റെ വീട്ടുകാർ മാത്രമല്ല വന്നിരിക്കുന്നത്. എടാ ഞങ്ങൾക്കൊക്കെ വീട്ടിൽ പോകണോടാ. വണ്ടി നിർത്തിയപ്പോ തൂറാൻ വിട്ടിട്ട് ഓടി പോകാന്ന് വിചാരിച്ചു. എന്നെ പിടിച്ച് വണ്ടി കയറടാ.
ഈ എന്റെ വെളച്ചിൽ നിർത്തേ. കുട്ടികള് വണ്ടി കിടന്ന് കരയാ. ഈ വന്ന് വണ്ടി കയറുത്.
என்ன பேசுறாங்க இவங்க எல்லாம் யாரு? விடுங்க, சொல்றத கேளுங்க. அதான் கூப்பிடுறாங்கல்ல, ஊருக்கு போற வழியை பாரு. சம்பள நான் எதுக்கு அவங்க கூட போனோம்? இவங்க எல்லாம் யாரு?
நீ தனியா போய் கிளம்பிட்டு இருக்க. எல்லாரும் கூப்பிடுறாங்கல்ல. போயா தம்பி, கிளம்பி போங்க. ஊருக்காரங்க கூப்பிடுறாங்கல்ல, போங்க தம்பி.
நான் இந்த ஊருக்காரன் இல்லையா?
இந்த ஊருக்காரன் இல்லப்பா, உங்களோட டூர் வந்தாளு.
நான் இந்த ஊருக்காரன் இல்லையா? வேற எவன்டா இந்த ஊருக்காரன்? நான் இந்த ஊருக்காரன் தான். டேய் மணி, உன் அப்பா சொல்லுவானா நான் இந்த ஊருக்காரன் இல்லன்னு? உன் ஆத்தா சொல்லுவா நான் இந்த ஊருக்காரன் இல்லன்னு? டேய் காளிமுத்து, உன் அப்பா இருந்திருந்தா சொல்லி இருப்பாரா நான் இந்த ஊருக்காரன் இல்லன்னு? ஏய், நான் தொட்டு தாலி கட்டுறேன், பொண்டாட்டி புள்ள சொல்லட்டும்டா நான் இந்த ஊருக்காரன் இல்லன்னு. சமண, நீங்க சொல்லுங்கண்ணே, நான் இந்த ஊருக்காரனா இல்லையா? சொல்லுங்க. நான் இந்த ஊருக்காரன் தான்டா. இந்த ஊரை விட்டு நான் எங்கேயும் போக மாட்டேன். முடிஞ்சத பாருங்கடா. உள்ள கண்ணு தெரியாம உட்கார்ந்துருக்காளே ஆத்தா, அவ சொல்லிட்டும்டா நான் இந்த ஊருக்காரன் இல்ல. நான் இந்த ஊருக்காரன் தான், இந்த ஊரை விட்டு எங்கேயும் போக மாட்டேன். நின்ற ஸ்தலம் வல்லடா. வண்டி
Heartbreaking, man.
ஊரை டூர் வந்து யார் மேல கை வைக்கிறீங்க? ஒருத்தனை உத்தரோட ஊரை தாண்ட மாட்டீங்க. மூஞ்சி கஞ்சியில அடிச்சு பேத்துவேன் நான். என்னடா சேட்டா உரைக்கிறேன், வாங்கடா. என் வீட்டு வாசல வச்சு என் மேல கை வைக்கிறான். நான் ஒத்தையா நிக்கிறேன். வெளியூர்காரங்க இத்தனை பேர் வந்திருக்காங்க. தாயா புள்ளையா பழகினவங்க வேடிக்கை பாக்குறீங்க. மலையாளத்தான் கூட சேர்ந்து என்ன ஊரை விட்டு போக சொல்றீங்க? நான் இந்த ஊருக்காரன் இல்லையா? வருதண்ணே, நீங்க வீட்டுல இல்லாதப்ப நான் தானே ஒத்தாசையா உங்க பொண்ணுக்கு இடுப்பு வலி வந்தப்ப நான் தானே நினைச்சு கூட்டிட்டு வந்தேன். நான் உங்க ஊருக்காரன் இல்லையா? லட்சுமணா, உன் காட்டுல தண்ணி இல்லாதப்ப என் வரப்பு வெட்டி தானடா தாண்டி பாய்ச்சல. உன் நெஞ்சத்துட்டு நீ சொல்ற நான் இந்த ஊருக்காரன் இல்லையா? நான் இந்த ஊருக்காரன் தான். சொல்லுங்கப்பா, நான் இந்த ஊருக்காரன் இல்லையா? நான் உங்க மகன் இல்லையா? சொல்லுங்கப்பா. பாப்பா முத்து, உன் அப்பா இந்த ஊருக்காரன் இல்லையா? நான் இந்த ஊருக்காரன் தான்மா. நான் இந்த ஊருக்காரன் தான். இந்த ஊர்ல பிறந்து வளர்ந்தவன். என் பாட்ட முப்பாட்டம் மாதமானது என் கட்ட இங்க தாண்டா. இது ஏன் பண்ணல? சொல்ல, நான் இந்த ஊருக்காரன் இல்லையா? நான் இந்த ஊருக்காரன் இல்லையா?
Oh my God, man.
நான் இந்த ஊருக்காரன்.
Oh my God, man. That scene. Ooh.
What an epic scene, man. That gives me goosebumps watching that.
Yeah, man. I mean, the master and the direction in this movie is just so good, but like the way this is shot, how you're sort of back a bit and you feel like you're part of the crowd, you're part of the audience, you're one of the villagers basically.
You're just watching
Makes
this
it feel
unfold.
so intimate. Like you feel like you're really there. I think that's just a genius stroke, man.
The framing in this scene as it starts is also equally beautiful, right? Like his father and him are just sitting there on two sides of the post of their house, and then you've got the villagers who are like framed in one part of the shot, and then you've got the people from the bus framed in another part of the shot, all just constructed beautifully in one shot. Like the thought that has gone into constructing this scene, there are levels to, like there's just layers to the thinking here, and then you overlay that with just the incredible dialogue and Mammootty's performance here, man. Like just chills.
Yeah, man. The way they start slowly walking towards him, like the Malayali family.
Yes.
It's all just done. It feels so real. Like it feels frighteningly real. You know, it's almost like, this is like a camcorder or something like that footage. It's that real, man. And man, Mammootty's performance, the inflections in his voice, how he's sort of breaking down and breaking apart. You can really see the subtlety in how much has gone into this. Like he is a man completely broken. And you can see that. And just, you know, the silence is the most shocking part. No one can respond to him because what do you say in this situation? It's,
everyone is confused by what he's saying because the words he's saying and the villagers he's directing it to, it's all true. It's just they can't associate that with the man they see before them. No. And the confusion there, and I understand no one knows exactly how to respond to him. And yet I'm sure they would be moved by the emotion that he's feeling because he sincerely believes he is the Sundaram character. And he's so passionate about that point, and he knows the intimate details of Sundaram's character, and it obviously just floors everyone. And, you know, we haven't been with Sundaram a whole lot in this film, and yet how close do we feel to him and the emotion we feel with him, even though his wife and child are there. The wife and child from his Malayalam life are there. And then there's that beautiful scene of his Sundaram's wife and child just sitting inside the house, shrouded in darkness, almost symbolizing how confused they are and not appreciating and not knowing what to make of this. The depths of emotions that everyone must be feeling on that screen are just immense, and they're all communicating it so flawlessly, with Mammootty, of course, being kind of front and center.
I think the scene where at the end when he's like comes up to the camera and he's like almost talking to us.
Yes.
That scene was like the timing of how that all plays out, because it's definitely, it doesn't break the fourth wall or anything like that, but in a way it kind of feels like he's talking to us because the way the cameras work, we're in a position for a long time, then we move to another corner. It's like we're almost a person moving around basically the crowd and seeing how it's done.
Yes.
It's amazing, man. And the sound design that's going on in the background, obviously, it just adds to some, I don't know if there's any commentary behind that, but I guess it just adds to that realism that, there are sights and sounds of this world that are coming out from the TV. It's
amazing.
Remarkable.
That sound from the TV, and from radios, that is there throughout the whole film. Like there's almost no silent moments in this film. There's this constant noise being thrown at the audience, some of which might mean something. Others is just the noise of life. You're in a village, TVs are in the background, radios are in the background. It's all just such a beautifully constructed film. And just on the Mammootty point you touched on earlier, man, the inflections in his voice, like the journey his character is going through in this 4 minutes or 5 minutes of dialogue, from like confusion to then anger as people are trying to forcibly take him, then just utter despair as no one is vouching for him, and then just like resignation as he just lies on the ground and kind of just stays there because he feels completely shattered by the fact that no one is supporting him and no one seems to know who he is, despite his own view that he's got these deep roots in this land. It's an amazing performance, man. The variety that we see in just that
Definitely,
5 minutes.
Yeah, and you can see how much that land means to him basically throughout that scene, right? That's what he's basically expressing, the people, the land, every single thing about
the things he holds
that place is his.
Yes.
He can't let go of that. Like, he loves it so much. And to just see this position where everyone's in, when he's talking to all the villagers and basically saying, like, wasn't I here to help you? Like, he's telling us his journey, like, how much he's into this community. And they're just in shock because you're not there. Like, you're not the same person.
Yes.
It's incredible, man. There's a reason why this movie won the best movie of the year, and I think, just watch the scene and you probably understand why.
You're just remembering now just how amazing this film actually was.
Yeah, man. Definitely. Well, prepare to have your heart broken again because, we're going to do some more of it. So, let's see the scene, man.
புதுசா இதோ அவர் செத்து 6 மாசமாச்சு.
It's just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
வாங்க வந்து சாப்பிடுங்க.
சோறு வச்சிருக்கேன் சாப்பிடுங்க.
போப்பா போய் சாப்பிடுப்பா, அப்பதான் உடம்பு தெம்பா இருக்கும். போப்பா போய் சாப்பிடுப்பா, உடம்பு தெம்பா இருக்கும். போ.
எங்க தாத்தாவும் எங்க பாட்டியும் தினம்
குமாரே இல்ல குமாரே குமாரே ஏய் இல்ல குமாரே வீட்டுக்கு உள்ள இருக்க உள்ள குமாரே வா போய்டோ சொல்லுங்க போயா குமாரே என்ன திருட்டு பயலுக்கு விருது நடக்குதா நல்ல வயிறு கூட திருட்டு ஓடிடுறா பிச்சைக்கார நாயே
சின்ன வயசுல என்னப்பா சத்தம் போடுது சண்டைக்கு போவாதப்பா சின்ன ஒரு சண்டைக்கு போவாதா
ஏப்பா நான் அப்படி பேசிட்டு போறேன் அவன் அப்படித்தான் நீ சாப்பிடு எனக்கு ஏதாவது பிரச்சனை இருக்கா நீ அதே நினைச்சிட்டு இருக்க சாப்பிடு யாருமே என்கிட்ட பேசுறது இல்லை மயில்சாமி செத்து போயிட்டான் திடீர்னு பார்த்தா சிவன் கோயில் இருக்குது என்னென்னமோ நடக்குது விளங்கல சாப்பிடு சாப்பிடு பாப்பா முத்து சாப்பிட்டா நீ கூட தானே சாப்பிடுவா
நீங்க சாப்பிடுங்க
முத்து ஏன் அப்பா இல்லாம சாப்பிட்டியா
ரசமா வச்சு
Oh. Oh man,
that's heartbreaking too.
That's heartbreaking.
That's a tough watch.
That was a very tough watch, man. Sorry, how to put you through that.
If anything, it just reminds us again how amazing this movie is, and just Mammootty's performance in this, man, just gets you every time.
The thing that really strikes me, man, is like, because you mentioned before how there's not a moment of silence in this movie. It does this beautiful job of contrast in that there's so much visual silence. Like, there's not much happening on the screen, right? So actually, in that way, it's pretty quiet. Like, we see that he's just sitting waiting for the barber, and the scene is exaggeratedly long. Like, it's like maybe 10 seconds too long than it has to be. Really, but like, it's just silence, but you have this backdrop of this music. So it's such a contrast between, you know, what's happening with your eyes and what's happening with your ears. Like, there's movement, but there's not movement. I don't know what effect that's called, but it's something that they're doing here with this movie, because you see that happening throughout. Like, even when he enters, everything is slower, but there's always a backdrop of music happening. So there's I wonder what it'd be like if it was completely silent. What it'd be like? It'd be maybe almost too hard to watch.
It would be too hard to watch, because there's just so much just emotion that underlays everything that is going on screen in terms of Mammootty's character. But it also draws attention to what those moments of silence, what's happening in the background and the words that are being said, because maybe there's something in what's happening in the radio or the TV screen. When he's at the barber, there's a line in the music or the TV show that's playing that says, "Is this a slumber?" And of course, that is one of the questions here, or the themes here of this movie.
Yes.
To go to sleep is to die, and to awake is to be reborn. And so you can't help but maybe kind of look into what's being said, because it's such a flawlessly constructed movie. It wouldn't surprise me if the director has chosen specific kind of messages to interweave through the use of TV and radio. But
definitely.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Mammootty's performance again, like, I mean, to have two scenes like that in one movie like this is, I mean, there's even more than just what we've shown. Obviously, but like those two back to back are just like, man, heart just breaks seeing this family. It's like a family's been destroyed by, by this imposition, I guess. And you just see him, man, when he's eating the food and he's just talking about how everything is lost. You just feel so bad.
This is the point at which it becomes clear to him that something is not right. Before, it was always other people not understanding who he is, but he sees his reflection for the first time in the mirror. And then you see, the fact that no one is buying milk from him anymore. There's a temple that's gone up that he never remembers being constructed at all. And if you put yourself in his shoes, you have to wonder exactly what he must be going through, what utter confusion and fear that must be gripping him at this moment, right? And it's hard to imagine the pain that he must be feeling at that moment as he feels his world kind of crumbling around him slowly, and he's trying to make sense of things. This is the moment it hits him really clearly, and I think the stakes become so clear for the audience at this point as well, because we are so invested by this point in the Sundaram character. And while we care about James, we've spent less time with James, so I'm almost at this point being like, can you just be Sundaram and try and live happily ever after here?
Definitely. It's those two scenes sort of back to back sort of give us a sort of view as to, the first one we watched told us like how much he loved this place, how much it means to him, how he was gonna be buried here, to the end. And then we see this scene here where he just realizes everything is lost. It's not the same anymore. So just to see those two sort of, in parallel or sort of back to back.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, we probably skipped over, by doing that, we skip over all the other parts that also have a part to play.
Yes.
In building that story up. Because we know it already, we get the instant impact of just watching those two being like,
that's it.
He has something he loves and he's so committed to, and he's like, it's in his mind, it's real. Like in his mind, this is all his. He's lived the life of Sundaram. So to see that taken away from him just at that moment, what would anyone do in that situation if you suddenly wake up one day and you just like,
and you wholeheartedly believe you're someone else, and then to have it kind of slowly pared away or peeled away.
Scary.
It's a scary thought. And I think the final thing I would note, man, is just this movie has a great deal of empathy, I think, because you just watch everyone in that family, aside from the brother who came in and yelled, the mother thinks it's him. And ironically, she's the blind one. The only thing she has to go on is what is being said. And to her, she instantly believes it's Sundaram because it all seems real. But everyone else who know that this is a weird situation, know that this man isn't Sundaram, and yet they feel some sense of connection and pity and kind of desire to make this work in some way. The mother and daughter are trying to comfort him. The daughter comes back and sits with him while he's having his lunch, like she used to do when she was younger. They're trying to make this work and trying to make him not feel sad. And just the empathy of everyone involved in that is it's so beautiful in its own way and shows the difficulty of the situation that they're all in.
Definitely, man. Yeah, and the father as well, consistently just, being just like, saying, have some food, just, eat. And, there's no answers. There's no answers for this. That's the hard part. He just can't.
That's it.
There's no one that can give him any answers, but what can you do? They still respect him, and they still, despite, you could argue like, you're an intruder, and like the brother does essentially.
Yes.
But, everyone else is essentially just like, no, you're still a human being and we respect you and we care for you, despite the fact that, you're from a different place, you're, a Malayali, for instance, and, you don't speak our language, you don't know our culture.
Yes.
Yet, we're not just going to abandon you, despite the fact that you're not even, our son. You're not our son anymore. You literally are not. You are not. But in some way you are. So it's it's the kind of movie that just plays with your mind so much because of this. Amazing, man.
It is flawless,
a really
man.
Special movie.
It really is. The fact that you can sympathize with all of the people in that film. No one's a good person or a bad person. Like, what a masterclass in directing and acting.
Yeah. It's incredible, man. Well, that'll do for the Nanpakal. Let's move on to something a bit more crazier. Let's see what Mammootty has in store next.
അവൻ പോയി സാറേ, അവൻ ചത്തു, മണ്ണ് തിന്നവനെ. സാറിന് വേണ്ടി ദൈവം പകരം ചോദിച്ചു. അത് പോരെ, ഇനിയെങ്കിലും നിർത്തിക്കൂടെ?
ദൈവം ചോദിച്ചു കാണും, ഞാൻ ചോദിച്ചില്ലല്ലോ. എനിക്കൊരു ചാൻസ് വേണ്ടേ? ദൈവത്തെക്കാൾ അർഹൻ ഞാനല്ലേ?
സാറ് പൊറുക്കണം, എന്റെ മോനാത്. ഞാൻ മരിക്കുന്നത് വരെ എനിക്ക് അവനെ നോക്കിയല്ലേ പറ്റൂ. പിന്നെ എന്റെ കുടുംബം, ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് ഇനിയും പുറത്തിറങ്ങി നടക്കണം സാറേ.
ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റിംഗ് ഫാമിലിയാണ് കേട്ടോ നിങ്ങൾ. ഒരു അമ്മയും 2 മക്കളും.
ആ മക്കളെ രണ്ടിനെയും ഞാൻ അളിച്ചു വഷളാക്കിയെന്ന് ബാലേട്ടൻ എപ്പോഴും പറയാറ്. കുറച്ചൊക്കെ സത്യം അത്. എൻ്റെ സ്വഭാവം രണ്ടിനും. ദിലീപും ഞാൻ തന്നെ, ദൈവനും ഞാൻ തന്നെ. എൻ്റെ മക്കളുടെ നന്മയും തിന്മയും എല്ലാം ഞാൻ തന്നെ. എല്ലാം എനിക്ക് വേണ്ടിയാ സാറേ. ഞാൻ സമ്മതിക്കുന്നു. എൻ്റെ മക്കള് കട്ടതും കൊന്നതും ഒക്കെ എനിക്ക് വേണ്ടിയാ. ഞാൻ സന്തോഷത്തോടെ ഇരിക്കാൻ, എനിക്ക് ഒന്നിനും മുട്ട വരാതിരിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി അവർ ചെയ്തത്.
എനിക്കറിയായിരുന്നു ഇവിടെയല്ലാതെ നീ എവിടെ പോവാൻ. ഇവിടെ കഴിഞ്ഞ പിന്നെ നീ എങ്ങോട്ട് പോകും? ഇവിടാണല്ലോ തുടക്കം. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഒടുക്കോ ഇവിടെ തന്നെ.
അവരെ ചെയ്തോളൂ. ഇത് നമ്മുടെ തലയിലോ.
Oh man!
Oh my god, that was really a 180 there.
Definitely, man. Yeah, went to the other side. Oh my god, man. I mean, we don't see him do too much action, but I definitely enjoy his sort of action scenes because that was a very good one. You know, it's pretty. I don't know, man. I'm not sure if he's using a stunt double or not or something, but if they're not, then he's doing a terrific job on the action sort of sequences.
A terrific job, man.
Yeah.
And again, it's all in kind of the physical action is great that he does, but the facial kind of reactions to everything he's doing, that's what really makes it. Like the look when he's sitting on the stairs at the end where he's just looking smug and there's just bodies all around him of everyone that he's absolutely mauled. Like it's those parts of Mammootty's performance that are just so memorable and capture kind of the rawness of the emotion. Amazing.
Yeah, man, it's so good. And like the scene does a really good job of tension building, right? Like I think watching that scene, you're just sort of waiting for it to happen, waiting for them to sort of fall. The mother does a great job in just the dialogue delivery and just the back and forth with Mammootty. That was probably one of my highlights. Just those two going back. It's perfect.
She almost holds her own in that, right? Yeah. She's sitting across just as confidently as he's sitting there and explaining that, you know, her children are an extension of her and the things they've done for her.
Correct.
And they all have shades of grey that she also has. The matriarch of the family, man. Like, she's a bit of an imposing character there as well. It's just...
Exactly.
Mammootty is not going to take no for an answer.
Yeah.
I love that he says, like, don't I get a chance at vengeance? Even if God has?
Yeah, exactly, man. This whole movie's concept is just completely wild, man. And just even like, you know, the stuff that he does, you're right, the facial expressions, like when he's about to punch him and he stops all of a sudden. Zoom-ins to sort of his expressions and like what's going on in his mind. And of course, the whole graphic, you know, the effects they have with the whole mask coming in and out. It's really, really just reminding me of how great that movie was.
Excellent.
Really an intense watch.
And it's kind of the 180 between what we saw in Nanpakal versus this just shows you the kind of range that Mammootty has, because here he is a terrifying character. You as an audience don't really know what the motivations are or how far he'll go. And he almost ends up kind of destroying himself in the end through this process, right? Of this kind of desire for vengeance. It overtakes him completely. But he is a fearsome character, whereas in Nanpakal, he's your everyday man. And he is a character we can empathize with. Here, this is a man we can kind of understand, but he's also, in a way, completely incomprehensible to us. And you're just watching and trying to figure out what he's thinking. And that's part of the joy of this film, trying to unpick the complex plot that is kind of slowly being revealed to you over time.
Yeah, no, he's definitely playing one of the most unique characters that I think I've seen. And even for someone like of his range, I don't think he's done a character like this from sort of what I've researched and looked around. Obviously, we've seen a few Mammootty movies, but not so much that we can comment on whether he's done anything like this or not. But he's probably I'm sure he's played a villain, but this is like a different kind of villain because it's just the concept is so wild.
He's an anti-hero slash kind of, it's not clear. And
it's not clear,
And I think, again, you make a point to note is the willingness to take on such unconventional roles, right? We've talked in the past about people who've kind of reached the age Mammootty has. They're comfortable in what they're doing. They'll just do the same thing over and over again, gets easy money and they do it well. But Mammootty, like in the films we've watched, challenging himself. And it was in that interview we watched as well. He is digging within himself for more that he can find, more that he can reveal, because he doesn't think he's shown his full potential yet. He's digging for more emotions, digging for new dimensions of himself that he can bring to the screen. And like to have this courage to play this somewhat dislikable character when he's this big superstar in Kerala and in India as a whole. It's a bold choice. It's a bold choice, and you have to respect it.
There's moments when you genuinely dislike this guy, like really like hate him at some points, man. Like what he's doing to that, especially that poor girl.
Yes,
that's probably the worst part. Marrying her and doing all that stuff. That part was pretty unsettling.
Yes,
but yeah, Rorschach, man, I think it definitely deserved a bit more love in the awards. But
agreed.
You know, it still goes down as one of the best movies of 2022 for us. I think
100%.
So. Yeah, let's finish it off with a completely different look once again with Bheeshma Parvam.
Oh man, can't wait.
I love him.
Oh man, never gets old.
ഇത് ബോംബെയിലുള്ള എൻ്റെ ഫ്രണ്ടാണ്. ഇവര് രാജൻ ആൻഡ് രാജൻ അസോസിയേറ്റിന്റെ മാനേജിംഗ് ഡയറക്ടേഴ്സാണ്. നമ്മുടെ സാന്തോം കോളനിക്കാരൻ നൈസായിട്ട് വേറൊരു സ്ഥലത്തേക്ക് ഷിഫ്റ്റ് ചെയ്താ. ആ സ്ഥലത്ത് നമുക്കൊരു കലക്കൻ 5 സ്റ്റാർ ഹോട്ടൽ പണിയാം. പാർട്ണർഷിപ്പില് മെയിൻ ഷെയർ നമ്മ കയ്യിലിരിക്കും.
അങ്ങനെ കോളനിക്കാരെ മാറ്റിയിട്ട് തൽക്കാലം സ്റ്റാർ ആകണ്ട. പിന്നെ നിന്നോടൊക്കെ ഞാൻ പച്ച മലയാളത്തിലല്ലേ പറഞ്ഞത്, ഒരു കച്ചവടമായിട്ടും ഇങ്ങോട്ട് വന്നേക്കരുതെന്ന്.
അയ്യോ മൈക്ലപ്പ, ഞങ്ങൾക്കല്ല, മൈക്ലപ്പനെ മാനേജിംഗ് പാർട്ണർ ആക്കാന്നാ പറഞ്ഞേക്കണത്. പിന്നെ ഞാനും ചേട്ടായും എന്ത് സഹായത്തിനും കട്ടയ്ക്ക് കൂടെ ഉണ്ടാവും.
മോൻ കോച്ചേരിയിൽ ആരാ?
ഇരുപപ്പിള്ളയുടെ കൊച്ചുമോനാണ്.
അപ്പന്റെ പേര്?
എന്റെ പേര് രാജൻ മാധവൻ നായർന്നാണ്. മരിച്ച മാധവന്റെ മകൻ.
മരിച്ചതല്ലല്ലോ, കൊന്നതല്ലേ? ആ കേസ് ഞാൻ തീർപ്പാക്കിയതാണല്ല ഭായി. പിന്നെ അതിന്റെ കണക്ക് തീർക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി വന്നതാണെങ്കിൽ ഈ മണ്ടന്മാരുമായിട്ട് വരേണ്ട വല്ല കാര്യമുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. എന്റെ പ്രതികാരത്തിന് നീ പറയണ സ്ഥലത്ത് ഞാൻ വരുമായിരുന്നല്ലോ.
റിവെഞ്ചിനായിട്ട് എനിക്ക് ഇങ്ങോട്ട് വരേണ്ട കാര്യമില്ലല്ലോ അങ്കിൾ. ബോംബെന്ന് ഒരുത്തൻ്റെ കയ്യിൽ 500 രൂപയും കൊടുത്ത് ജയന്തി ചന്തയിൽ ജനറൽ കമ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റിൽ കയറ്റിവിട്ട പോലെയായിരുന്നു. ഞങ്ങളെ പറ്റി അറിയാൻ പാടില്ലാത്തതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ബോംബെയിൽ അന്വേഷിച്ചാൽ മതി.
എന്നെ പറ്റി അറിയാൻ നിന്റെ തന്തേനോട് ചോദിച്ചാൽ മതി.
പറ്റില്ലായിരിക്കും. പക്ഷെ അങ്കിളെ കുറിച്ച് എനിക്ക് എൻ്റെ അമ്മയുടെ വയറ്റ് വെച്ച് തന്നെ അറിയാം. ഏതാണ്ട് 7 മാസം മുതൽ. ബാക്കി കഥകള് അച്ചാച്ചനും അച്ചമ്മയും പറഞ്ഞറിയാം. ഇനി അങ്കിള് പറയണം നമ്മൾ എങ്ങനെ ബിസിനസ് ചെയ്യണമെന്നും എന്ത് ഷെയർ വേണം.
ഇവിടെ ബോംബെക്കാർ ജാവോന്ന് പറയണം.
Oh man. Oh
God. What a way to close out. Mammootty being a boss.
So much with so little. That's the definition of that scene right there, man. Like, he's just the most intimidating, just the central picture right there. But like,
doesn't need to say very much. That's right. Just the presence he has on screen it tells the entire story.
Yeah.
Everyone who walks into that room knows who the boss is. Even the guy who's come over from Bombay. Like, there's no doubting who's running this show and who's running this meeting.
Yeah, man. It's just, I love the demeanor. Him just sort of sitting back, legs crossed, smoking. It is such a cool gangster look, man. Like, that is the definition of like gangster, what he's doing right there. Like, it's like he's tapped into some kind of energy, which is just, it's just so reminiscent of like, there's really great gangster movies, but it's got something else to it. It's got his own Mammootty flavor on it, which just makes it so much better. Everything about it. It's just such an amazing scene.
And you got to credit the director for like, the choices of shrouding Mammootty in kind of a little bit of darkness there, right? Yeah. Emphasizing when he puts his cigarette on the match kind of box and everything, and the sounds that come out of it, the way the smoke pours out, the close-ups on the other guy's face. It's all just done perfectly, and you're just watching everyone's reactions to the scene unfolding because they all feel this palpable sense of tension, and it's just built beautifully and then released beautifully, not through fighting but just through some like kick-ass words and kick-ass phrases from Mammootty. Gotta say it in Hindi.
Yeah, man, that part's one of the best lines, I think. So he's boasting about how he's from Bombay, so he just sort of puts it back at him. So good.
And the fact that he was just rubbing it in. Yeah.
I met your father, you can't do anything about it. Like, he's always proud of himself. He's just sort of doing this.
You should ask your father about me, but I guess you can't. Brutal.
Yeah. I've already taken care of that issue, I guess. Just non-stop with it.
He's just so unfazed by this guy who's out there to seek revenge, and he invites him into his home, and he's like, "You're nothing to me."
Yeah, and he's basically insulting his 2 family members. Like, you can't take these 2 dummies. And
yeah. If you want revenge, you need some smarter guys than this.
Yeah, these 2. Perfect scene, man. Yeah, the whole gamut basically we got across Mammootty this time around, man. And it's just these, 2 of these movies were sort of the first 2 we saw from Mammootty, and one of them is one that's not gonna. I mean, none of them are gonna leave our memory, but we basically got 2022 flavor of Mammootty right there, which was so important to us because it led us down this path of, well, I don't know how many Mammootty movies we've done now, but they're gonna just keep going up.
That's it, and all of this just within the span of 2022, man, that he produced. Incredible. Like, what a hardworking man, and a man who's constantly pushing himself to do new things.
Definitely, man. But that was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that reaction review for, Mammootty's best of, I guess, in 2022. We'd love to sort of hear you guys comments and your thoughts on this reaction video. And Sunny, man, again, like always, this was awesome. We'll catch you in the next one,
blast. Man.
Catch you, man.